Good evening and welcome to yet another edition of the Startup Stars here at India's first post-cable network, TheBigScope. And on the show today, I've got with me A.S. Narayanan, the founder of McXtra, who is basically building an app, a buddy kind of a thing, who's going to help you with all kinds of insurance. What is this app? What does it do? Where does insurance come into play?
Okay, you can treat this app as your personal insurance assistant.
Okay.
That's the best way to look at this. So, if I look at it from a consumer perspective, insurance is a fairly complicated subject.
Oh, it is.
It is, right? Also, you have various kinds of insurance. Even as a retail person, you have a health insurance, you have a motor insurance, you probably have a life insurance. When you travel, you may have a travel insurance. You may have an insurance for your house. So, you have various kinds
Various
of
types of insurance, correct.
Also, all these insurances are typically bought from different insurance companies. Because you might have bought your health insurance from someone, your motor insurance.
It becomes messy. There's so much, 7 or 8 portfolios. Like, where do I go? Where do I manage? What do I need?
Absolutely right, Haritha. So that's one. Also, you buy it from different intermediaries.
Yes.
Sometimes you may buy it from a bank, a broker, an agent, a car dealer. So basically, from a customer's perspective, if you look at this, to turn it on its head, forget the insurer for a moment. For the customer, this is a very complicated area.
Yeah, so many involved.
He's got a lot of insurances from a lot of intermediaries, from a lot of different insurance companies, things which do multiple things for him. He does not fully comprehend or understand this product. So we thought from a customer's perspective, there should be something which helps him through this entire process and takes away all the hassles of insurance from his life.
Absolutely.
Is insurance something that you love to do, is love to take care of, register a claim or any such thing? You don't. You typically would love to have something which takes care of all of these things for you, makes your life simpler, uncomplicated, and does it very, very efficiently. So
it's like a one-stop platform where I can see, okay, these are my 1 to 10 insurance about me, or my family, or I mean, anybody related to me. Is that what you're saying? Yes.
So basically, we understand that insurance is a very family subject. Right? So life insurance, not just for you, it's actually for protecting your family. Your car is also like a family thing. Your health and your people in your health insurance are covered.
Correct.
So it's for the family. We have defined family just from an insurance perspective, and to make it easy for people to understand, we've said like you can define your family as spouse, children, parents, in-laws, and obviously yourself.
Absolutely.
So all their insurances you could bring onto the single platform called McXtra. The moment you have those on McXtra, it does a number of things for you. The first thing it does is demystifies it.
So how does a person do it? I'm just breaking it down. So say today, I have a family of 3, I mean, I have some 10, 20 insurances, even if I say some insurances from across the world. And I'm like, boss, what is this? Wife has something, kid has something, I have something. And then I see an app like McXtra. I'm like, so how do I go around and put all some 10, 20 insurance papers into one platform, and then I can see all of them together?
So there are a lot of simple ways of doing it. One is you can simply email your policy to policy@mextra.com. So
when you start a profile on your platform.
So you can register. You can come and register yourself on McXtra. You can do it on Android or iOS. We are available on both. You can download McXtra. As of today, you need a particular code from us to download. So because we want to know which user is coming on board. So we'll give you a code. Once you have the code, you can register the product. You register the product, obviously you can use either your email ID or your mobile number. If you use your email ID, then with that registered email ID, you can simply email all the policies to policy@mextra.com. That's one way of doing it. The app has an inbuilt camera functionality. You can simply use the camera, take photographs of the policy. And for this time, you don't have to bother whether this is my wife's insurance, this is my insurance, is this a car insurance, is this a health insurance, is this a group health insurance, is this a term life policy, is this an endowment policy? Please don't bother. That's McXtra's job. So you just have to load those, you just have to take those.
So in this situation, say for example, let's think hypothetically, right? Now these are matters of not 1,000, 2,000. We're talking matters of lakhs and crores.
Yes.
With respect to individuals. Now say hypothetically there are 10 people in Bangalore.
Yes.
And there are 20 people in Bangalore. 10 people decide, I have my insurance with 1, 2, 3, 4 companies. Let me put it on this app. Now, as an platform, as an app, you are not related to those 4 or 5 insurance companies that these guys have initially got into. But you are related to some other insurance companies. When I say insurance, I mean you work with them. So does any conflict of interest arise over there?
No, so let me explain this to you. So McXtra is a technology platform which is developed by a software company called Technology Private Limited. Its use is done by a broker called Heartbeat Insurance Brokers. Okay. So it's a licensed IRDA licensed intermediary.
All right.
The way this works is as far so the Heartbeat Insurance Brokers, it has first of all it has a partnership with most of the insurance companies. But basically you need this partnership to sell new products to you. To service you on your existing products, I don't need too much from the insurer. Yes, obviously a claim will be settled by the insurer, which is always the case. Or sometimes in a place where he's outsourced the claim settlement to a third party agency, you'll have to go ultimately to the third party agency to get your claim settled. What McXtra does is it manages that entire process for you. I'll give you an example. We are sitting here.
But you also don't suggest. You said so. In this scenario, do you also suggest to customers, this is the type of insurance, because you're sitting on a lot of very interesting set of data points in terms of what kind of insurance properties or platforms are Indians buying? What category of insurance is Indians buying? So do you also suggest them, this is the next thing you should do, because you also tie up with other companies?
So McXtra actually has three main things that we look at. One is service. So the first thing that we have started out with service is to provide world-class service to all people in a very insurer and intermediary agnostic fashion of the kind that's not been seen today.
Right.
Completely technology-led 24/7. Right. The second is assistance. So what do I mean by assistance? I'll give you an example. Let's say you are in UK and you lose your passport. So insurance is basically compensation for a financial loss. So you might be entitled to say $250 because you lost your passport. But at that point of time, you're not really looking for $250. What you're looking for is, how do I get out of this situation? That's assistance. So McXtra provides world-class assistance 24/7. And that includes anything that could happen to your car, to your health, to yourself when you're in a foreign country. So that's the assistance.
So does it automatically happen? Say a person meets with whoever that person is.
Unfortunately.
The unfortunate person meets with a life-threatening accident, say in a foreign country, is an Indian citizen. Now, he has a wife and a kid at home.
Right.
See, and say on one of the insurance things that he's got his wife and kid's name written on it. This guy has met with a life-threatening accident somewhere in a foreign country. So does that app automatically, reach out, or through the app your backend team reaches out to the family and says, this has happened, this is what technically you should do now?
So there's a red button functionality on the app. When you hit that, there's a data call and a voice call, which both goes to the backend, which is 24/7. When we collect information on onboarding, we collect your family doctor details, we collect your emergency contact details.
Lovely.
We collect the details of your family. We take further information. It's all voluntarily given. It's entirely voluntary, right? You can give your blood group, you can give allergies, you can store your medical reports, you can give all these details. My app, on pressing the red button, will geolocate you wherever you are in the world. So what do we know? We know that you have hit the red button. We know that you are in XYZ location. We know which are the nearest hospitals and garages that can cater to you. We know who your
even in a foreign location, irrespective of the situation.
Even in a foreign location, on your travel policy, what is covered, we would do that for you.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
So the entire piece is designed to take care of you. And of course, later on, the question of claim will come.
No,
so once you are out of your situation, so if it's cashless, then obviously, we help you through that process. If it's reimbursement, we guide you through that process.
Okay.
So that's what we do. Now you ask the question of advisory. So there's service, there's assistance, and then there's advisory. As insurance professionals, me and my team, we are very passionate about this, that insurance is a very advisory product.
Yeah, it is.
And it should not be driven by what an insurer drives or what an intermediary drives at a point of time, but should be entirely based on the requirements of the customer. Now, what does our platform do? Our platform, by the nature it is designed, does have a lot of information which is voluntarily given by you. So if I have your policies, I can see what it is doing for you. If I have your information about your family, if I have information about which company you work for, if I have information about what kind of pre-existing diseases, conditions you have, I know a lot of things about you, based on which we do complete data-driven advisory. So mind you, it's advisory, it's not a product. So I would not, for example, tell you that buy a product, buy this product. My first advice would be that on your health insurance, you have so much health insurance. These are the things it covers. Considering your situation, which is very curated and customized to you, this is probably the kind of insurance is there as a gap.
All right.
Once you acknowledge that gap, then there is a process by which we can offer you options, which could be A product, or a combination of products.
Combination of products.
Right. So for example, if I see somebody has diabetes at the age of 35, he's more susceptible to organ failure at a later stage in his life than somebody who doesn't. Common sense, right? So your medical insurance policy should be one which covers organ donor, for example.
So do you suggest that also?
Yeah, so that's so we look at all the parameters. So if you have young children, then probably you need more life insurance. So there are a number of things which come into play, looking at an individual circumstances and what he already has.
Correct.
What you already have will also determine what I advise to you in future.
So who gives the insurance in this regard? I mean, do you just advise to them and then leave it to them, you know, boss, you can go ahead and take it from any insurance company?
Yes.
Or do you get into with your partners here?
So this is a very good question. So we give the advice, okay, and we offer the product, but our platform is insurer and intermediary agnostic. So we are completely service driven. So for example, you could choose to take my advice, buy from someone else, put your policy back on my portal, and get my services.
Lovely. How lovely is that?
But you could also choose to buy from me.
Absolutely.
That's your choice.
But do you feel, you know, having said that, I know we're having this conversation, see, this is not rocket science, but this is a need, a very basic need, but this is not rocket science. But having said that, I mean, I've looked at the things that, in terms of tech, that the insurance industry has used in the last 3 or 4 years, the kind of things that have been used. Now, I really want to ask you, I don't want to sound negative over here, but do you think the insurance industry isn't the most progressive when it's known to adopting new tech, or even basic things like putting together on one platform? Because you've been in the industry for so long.
Yes. So insurance is a very old industry, okay? It's a 200-year-old industry, and there is a lot of digitization which is happening in the insurance world. There is a lot of digitization. But there's a lot of digitization which happened internally, which helps customer. For example, insurance companies are moving more and more towards automated underwriting. So they're able to do that. They are moving more and more towards offering you products which are easy to buy on a technology platform. Okay, so what has happened with certain insurance, insurtech players is they have made it easy for you to buy. But the first assumption is that you know what is to be bought. Okay, now that is not an easy decision for a common man to do.
Yes, agreed.
Two things about insurance. One, it is very important, more than the price, it's very important that what you buy fits into your portfolio.
All right.
Second, it's also very important that you assess your overall situation and buy something which will serve you for the longer term, and not something that you just think will, suit me today. Because if you look at health insurance, for example, you may decide my company has given me a health insurance policy, so that's it, I'm not bothered. But people change jobs, people are laid off. There could be any amount of circumstances which arise, and if you need health insurance later, you may not get it, or you may get it at a very high price. And they will exclude those very conditions that you want included, because there is a waiting period for any health insurance policy. So there are many people who don't know about these things, and McXtra wants to address that gap in the market.
All right, lovely. I mean, so that's a very critical point you mentioned, because that means since you guys sit on such critical data sets, now if you put a basic machine learning algorithm, run it through it, and those are great pointers that you can use to take your business to a different level. So what does your current algorithm tell you about Indians using insurance? So 2 or 3 key pointers, if you can tell me. How has it changed with we've seen in terms, irrespective of the class of people who use insurance?
So okay, it's actually okay. Our data tells us the same thing which we intuitively know. One is that people are very underinsured when it comes to life insurance. So there's a lot of savings products.
That's strange. Really? Okay.
There's a lot of savings products being sold, and there is a little pickup in pure term protection. Okay, but at the end of the day, if you look at it, term life is still a very small amount of that people are paying towards. And the primary reason for buying insurance is to protect your family in case of loss of life, in case of life insurance. In case of health insurance also, considering the way medical costs have escalated, right? People are significantly underinsured on health insurance. They also do not know many things about their health insurance policy. So you might, for example, think that I am covered up to 10 lakhs in my policy. But there are various policies which comes with various sub-limits. Surgeon limit, doom limit. So you really do not know how much I am covered for under what condition. And there are very simple measures that one could take and protect oneself against a possibility of a huge financial loss at the occurrence of any such unfortunate event. So our data does through all this. What we have done is, with the data that we have, we are building something which is a recommendation engine. Okay. Lovely. Yes, but let's differentiate. There's a difference between recommendation engine and artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence.
I'm so happy you said that. A lot of startups which come and say the opposite.
Yeah. So artificial intelligence requires a lot of data points. Yeah. That the algorithm requires a lot of training, and it defines the rules by itself.
Yes.
You don't define the rule for it.
Yes.
What we have is a very strong data-driven recommendation rule-based engine, but which works very beautifully. Yeah. As we collect more and more data, obviously we will start training, and we will come to a situation where AI and auto recommendation will happen.
Correct.
If any startup tells me today they're using AI, I will be very skeptical about it.
I agree.
Because they don't have that size of data.
Exactly.
They don't have that size of data.
It's like reinforcement learning. Yeah. Right. I mean, a lot of organizations come and tell me, I mean, from the Fortune 500 company CEOs that I've met over the years to startups doing it. I mean, it's like, you know, in a white paper, you write the word AI for a startup now, and you'll immediately get a pre-series A, series A, and that's what gets to me. And that's well said, because this is not AI, this is still recommended. That is what ML is, which is absolutely pinpoint. So I want to ask you a really interesting thing. So then, considering that, you know, I'll just stick to insurance a little bit. Sure. Now, if you've seen the last 8 months, or say, let us put as last 1 year, in terms of how much importance is given to social media from every industry pinpoint. Now, there are a lot of fake videos, fake news, and fake audio clips which go out about companies. It can be about your company, also about as an individual, as an entrepreneur. A lot of fake news is spread. Absolutely. Now, do you think because of this entire garb of fake news, has it given rise to a new range of liability for, I mean, insurance for individuals and companies? Is that something does the data tell you?
Okay, so the focus for McXtra, so if you're asking me as a professional, I'll answer that differently. But the focus for McXtra is on the retail individual. It is not so much on corporates. Okay, much of the fake news, etc., would bring on liabilities to corporates more than individuals. Except some people in very key positions. So if you're talking of a politician or a very big industrialist, typically that is not the market McXtra is going for. McXtra is going for largely retail, normal individuals. It could be HNIs, affluent people, right? But yes, you're right. There is a lot of liability which can occur, more than liability. So you can eventually fight it in a court, you can prove it is fake or whatever, but you have reputational loss in the meantime. And reputational loss can lead to business loss, even if it's a fake news. So there is a lot of awareness around insurances which are designed to fight reputational loss, professional indemnity. There's a lot of focus for that. Obviously, in the financial world, there's a lot of focus on preventing on getting protection against financial loss.
Absolutely.
So that's a trend, and a lot of banks and financial institutions and people of repute are taking indemnity to protect themselves. That's happening.
Absolutely.
That's a separate business. We do cater to that business as a broker, but that's not the focus of McXtra as a platform.
So the other thing, one of the last things I want to ask you is, I mean, do you think, since we do talk about so much of this AI word is thrown across the world, so do you think insurance companies will cover business losses when an AI system inappropriately performs some action or cause some harms which in an ideal situation a human would not? Okay, I'll tie it up with the self-driving car factor. With what I mean, it doesn't happen so much in India.
Google's self-driving car could go and hit someone, and therefore, that's not. So it depends on what your. So it depends on an insurance company. It is not uninsurable. Okay, let me tell you, you can insure anything that the probability of occurrence is not too high.
All right.
Okay, it is not too predictable. Occurs randomly and occurs frequently enough for it to be insured. The answer to you, based on these 4 parameters, is yes. Okay. But if you ask me whether such insurances are being actively targeted in India and people are actively selling them, not really at this point.
Oh, lovely. Oh, lovely. So what can we expect from McXtra in the next few months? This is very interesting. You're sitting on some really, you can tell what, these number data sets tell you a lot about what Indians are buying, what are their standard of living.
Absolutely.
I mean, it talks a lot of things. I mean, since we talk about jobs and all of that, where is India right now going in terms of the economy? So what can I expect from you folks in the next couple of quarters?
So the focus for McXtra is clearly to improve the service and assistance further. and make it like it would be the natural way for people to get all their insurance services from. So today, if you go to book a cab, you don't really know who is sending you that car, where he is. You just have to press a button and you expect the cab to come, right? So McXtra wants to do the same thing to insurance. We just expect you to press a button.
Simplify the tech.
Simplify. So we have our app is fairly simple. We want to make it very democratic, make it available to everybody, and give them the kind of service and assistance which they require when they need it. And our philosophy is, because we provide that platform to them, we can go after the entire market of people who have insurance policies. Right? We would love to serve them well. They can experience our services. And eventually, if they want to accept our advice and buy from us, we are more than happy.
Lovely.
And we believe it will happen by over a course of time.
Absolutely. And one last thing before I let you go. In your experience, what's the weirdest thing you have seen a person insure in India?
Insure in India? Very specific.
It can be anything. It can be a body part also, if I can put it that way.
Yeah, but there are people who have insured body parts.
Lovely.
Yes, they have insured body parts. They've insured voice. They've insured legs. And I wouldn't want to say a few things.
But what the weirdest commercial, I don't know, anything else apart from life and health insurance that you would have?
People see, there is a lot of insurance which goes on the commercial side, on the general insurance side, but nothing illegal can be insured as such. So people only insure anything that can either cause a loss to them or stops a possible gain. So the kind of insurance we're talking about, so for an artist who's singing, obviously the voice is very important. So they would insure against that. For people have insured body parts, wrestlers have done some things, and boxers have done some things. And sports people have done something, because obviously their livelihood is dependent.
Absolutely. It's a crazy conversation. I mean, because I'm thinking about a lot. I mean, what do people in India insure? And when you look at the haphazard manner in which policies are kept, I mean, I've met some, I mean, I can't take names, but
the personal insurance assistant McXtra is a great policy organizer for you also.
A policy organizer.
It also tells you what your policy covers in a manner that you would understand.
Absolutely. And you're also giving out, I mean, you're telling them in the next 1 year or so, this is what you should buy, this is what you should put your money in. Absolutely. And lovely, Chief, talking to you, and wish you all the best for this.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.